Hello and welcome. Welcome to this quick introductory video about the eating plan that we are going to be using through this Lean and Strong membership. So the first thing I'm going to say to you is protein. It's all about protein, and I'll tell you why that is so important. So protein is recognised as being one of the main nutrients that we really need, especially as women, especially as older women or of a certain age, that we undereat. Okay, so facts are very unlikely that you are getting enough protein for your needs. And let's just think about what protein does first of all. So protein is, think of it as the building blocks for your body. So protein is building your skin, your hair, your nails, the collagen in your body, in your tissues. It's building your muscles. It's building lots and lots of different things in your body. And we can't make protein out of food. We can for some, but there are certain types of protein that we can only get when we eat. So when you are not eating enough protein, then you're not going to be helping your body as it repairs and renews your skin, your hair, your nails, your muscles over time. And that's certainly something that we want to be doing. And there's increasing sort of consensus in the health community actually, suggesting that the older we get, so I'm 49, as you probably know already, so really thinking about people who are, women approaching or going through the menopause and people going into over 50s and onwards, the older you get, there is a growing consensus that we actually need more protein and that our protein needs are bigger than the general nutrition guidelines for just adults in the UK, and by quite some way, maybe as much as 50% or even more protein that we need as we get older. And the reason for that is because, just naturally the way we're making and building protein over time, building muscles I should say, is getting less and less. So we need an additional supply of those nutrients to keep building and preserving and maintaining muscle mass. And having stronger, more healthy muscles is going to help with our bones as well. That's going to be part of the reason that we can have strong, healthy bones. The muscles have a direct impact on that. So very, very strong reasons why we should be looking at eating more protein. Full stop. Okay, now the other fantastic benefit about protein, if you're here in this plan, I'm guessing you would like to shed a few pounds. And there's two reasons why protein is incredible strategy for helping you lose weight. One of them is because it is really, really satiating. Okay, so that's a word that means it's a very satisfying nutrient. So when you eat a meal that's got a lot of protein in, then you really feel full. You really, your appetite can be quite, dramatically curbed compared to, imagine eating a pizza. You buy a pizza, you could just keep going, and then you could probably have ice cream after the pizza and keep going and keep going. So when we're having things that are very carbohydrate-y, we can eat a lot of them. But imagine, having a big steak on your plate. Apologies to anyone who's not a meat eater at this point, but something like that, there's only so much you could eat of that. You would get to a point where you'd be like, wow, that was amazing, I'm done, that's it, I can't, that's me good for hours. And you would likely have had a lot less calories from just eating that big piece of protein versus filling yourself up with unlimited amount of carbohydrates. You'd have a lot of calories. So protein is very, very good at, I would actually go as far as saying suppressing your appetite. A lot of women I speak to, craving all the time, just want to comfort eat, don't, never feel like they're full at the end of the meal. Having a big amount of protein in your diet can really make a difference with that. So that's one good thing. The second thing is that because your body has to work so hard to eat protein, to digest protein, you only actually absorb about 85% of the total calories from protein. And for carbohydrates and fats, it's actually a lot higher. For carbohydrates, it's around 95%, and for fats, it's pretty much 100%. So there's a big cost to your body for eating protein, which means for the ones of us who like to eat plenty of food, you get a lot more bang for your buck. You can eat a lot more than you're actually going to burn of it from a calorie point of view. So that's great. So protein, just, very hard to actually overeat protein. So that's not something you need to worry about. And there's lots of really good data and really good science around how much protein that people need, and that's beneficial to, support your muscles and support you as you age. And they are the limits. When that might become problematic, you probably couldn't physically eat. So unless you're some sort of bodybuilder eating multiple steaks, endless egg whites and protein shakes all day long, you're not going to go anywhere near that. So don't worry about, am I eating too much? So to give you some guidelines about how much you should be eating, you want to be aiming for about 25 grams per meal. And the best thing to do with protein is to eat some at every meal. So that's breakfast, lunch and dinner. Now go and have a look at the recipe book that I've supplied as part of this programme. You'll be able to download it from the sort of homepage of the member page. You should find the link there. And all the recipes in there are really around giving yourself, creating meals that are higher in protein than they are normally. So all you need to do is have a read through. Let's keep it really simple to start off with. You're just trying to find a few recipes that you like the sound of, that you think are going to be quite easy for you to fit into your life and the family are going to eat, and start to try out having a few of those. You might only need, 2 or maybe 3 breakfasts that you can have on repeat each day. And same for lunch, dinners. You're just taking something that's sort of quite simple that your family can eat and just adapting it so that when what's on your plate, there's more, you're filling yourself up with more protein and less of the carbohydrates. We're just shifting the balance around. Most of us as a population eat a lot more carbohydrates than our body needs and not enough protein. So we're just changing the ratios of that. So we're putting a lot more protein into our plates and a lot less carbohydrates in our plates. And that's really how we're going to sort of think about rebalancing what we eat. So no carbs are off limit. It's more about the proportion of them. And when you eat this way, what you'll find, and for many of the women that I've worked with, they just feel a lot fuller, they're a lot less hungry, they crave a lot less. The meals that you're going to be eating, when you make a proper meal for yourself with, meat, veg, a few potatoes, whatever it would be, a bit of oil, there's not as many calories in it as you might imagine. But you're not really wanting to eat too much in between meals, you're not craving things. So the amount of calories that you're eating naturally starts to come down. And that's how you can start to lose some weight. And ideally, without having to do a lot of tracking or loads of tracking. We'll talk about that later, but for the time being and to get started, you don't have to think or worry about tracking if you don't want to, okay? Just think about how you start to eat higher protein meals. And then you want to try a few and notice how you start to feel them. And you should notice, you could have, one of my favourite breakfasts is full fat yogurt with high protein yogurt, so Greek yogurt with berries and nuts. That's a really satisfying breakfast that probably is very likely to get you right the way through to lunchtime without having to have something else. So you can, if that works for you, you would get the impact of that straight away. Yeah, straight away you're going to notice if you start to feel fuller after eating a certain thing. And that's what we're trying for to start off with. Just try a few things and learn what works for you, what you like, what fits into your lifestyle, what works with your family. Okay, so that's all there is to be going on with. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can put comments in this blog. You can also drop me a line on the Facebook group or email me, and I'm very happy to answer any of your questions that you have in terms of just working out this first stage of how to shift your diet into something that's higher protein. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you.